So first, I want to have the opportunity to wish everybody a good Chodesh. And although it's not literally the first day of Adar, but I think we can definitely be Makdimim in this one. We definitely need a lot of it, and Kadosh Baruch Hu should give us a lot of an extra dosage of Simcha, particularly this Chodesh Adar, Abba Leil Tova. So I want to just take a few moments, and I guess in place of our regular Friday afternoon scheduled Dvar Torah, to give us a little bit of a Rosh Chodesh Adar, a little bit of pre-Purim spin, and a little bit of just a chizuk and divrei asaros in a little bit of a festive, joyful way to put us into the proper spirit of things as we get closer to the days of Purim. Yetz Hashem. If we take a look at the Megillah, so there is a transformation in the way Klal Yisrael are portrayed and presented. The first presentation is given by none other than our arch enemy Haman, Russia. Chazal tell us that Haman may have been a big Russia, but he understood Klal Yisrael. Unfortunately, understood us very well. And he sized us up, and he knew our strengths, and he knew our weaknesses. And he presents to Achashverosh, Yeshno am echad mefuzar mefarad ben amim. There is a nation that is mefuzar mefurad, that are spread out, that are separated, that are distinct from one another. And Haman did not only mean geographically, he meant in all senses of the word. There is a lack of unity in the Jewish people. There's a lack of common purpose together. And perhaps there was some bickering and infighting, and that closeness, which was absent, was actually picked up upon by no less than Haman. And we just rolled the clock ahead a little bit. The Megillah, a few prakim later, several years later, but well, not little years, but a little while later, and we find that the Jewish people are described in very, very different terms. First, just a short time later, Lech Kanos es Yehudim and Nimtzoi b'Shushan. Esther gathers the troops, and a Lashon Knisa Knes Yehudim gather them all together. But that gathering and that uniting of Klal Yisrael reaches its heights at the very end of the Megillah. An entire year later, where the celebration of that first Purim and the declaration of Purim for Dorei Doros are all predicated on the unity of Klal Yisrael. The Klal Yisrael come together, Kibu v'Kiblu Yehudim, all the Yehudim, everyone, Minavi Adzokin, Taf and Oshim, all of those who had just been in mortal danger not so long ago, now gathered together in great celebration. And there is no day of celebration on our calendar that is more representative of the unity of Klal Yisrael than the day of Purim itself. Even the mitzvah Hayom, the first explained to us, mitzvahs of Mishloach Manos, mitzvahs of Matanos Davyonim, mitzvahs that are geared to create this feeling of unity, of love, of friendship, of harmony within the Jewish community, perhaps more than any other day of celebration throughout our entire year. Because ultimately, it is that coming together of Klal Yisrael that is the source of our strength. Sometimes that coming together of Klal Yisrael requires a little bit of a push from the outside. And that's exactly what happened in the days of Haman. Potentially catastrophic gezerah against the Jewish people. Turn the tables and turn the people who are mefuzah mefurad into kenosis kal Yehudim, into a people that can celebrate all as one and one for all. Yehudim Ma'aseh v'simcha v'sas v'yikar k'nti alanu. And I think that as we gather together now on Rosh Chodesh Adar, looking to the immediate future and looking a little bit past the immediate future, this notion of unity, of togetherness, as the Megillah describes, hakarovim v'harachokim, those who are far away and those who are close, and bring them all close. All the rechokim have to become karovim once again. I think this is a message that speaks to us. And yes, we'll have many, many times to talk about these themes of Achdus and Ahavas Yisrael, which is so critical at all times. And yes, there'll be much said about, much written about much deliberated about in terms of the global scene. Right now, I don't want to focus on that. I want to focus on our own Dalet Amos. I want to focus on our own small microcosm of Klal Yisrael, our community, primarily our Torah community and beyond. But right now, I want to focus on us, the Torah community. As for all of Klal Yisrael and for the entire world, there's been a challenge, and the challenge probably revolves around those words in the Megillah, Krovim v'Harchokim. We have been geographically distant from one another, and understandably, not only understandably, but rightfully so. And it has been difficult and challenging. There's no question about it. Many of us have experienced, myself included, that feeling that to so many of our friends and neighbors and colleagues and Akomis Palim, who maybe we passed them, in a haphazard way at the end of a minyan, or maybe not even that. Maybe they're on a different schedule. Maybe they're a youth house. Maybe they're a 40 rector. Maybe they're a 36 rector. Or maybe even for convenience reasons, perhaps they're davening at different venues and different minyanim spread throughout the streets of our community. But even though we may be geographically still slightly rochok at this point, we hope and pray to Kadosh Baruch Hu that we can already begin to see, begin to sense that somehow we hope Yeshua Hashem Karafayin, and we begin to see slowly, as Chazal say, that the Geula happens, not always necessarily at one split seconds. Kima, Gelas and Yisrael, Kima, sometimes a little bit step. So Mashu, Atibim and Ayam, little steps along the way, we hope and pray, are good signs for our community and good signs for Klal Yisrael, good signs for the world. And we look to the future, a time, hopefully it's not that long future, when our Torah will be back in its glory. And its glory, everybody together, davening together. Yes, we'll still have our Hashkamer minyan, we'll still have our quote unquote main minyan, whatever you want to call it. And yes, Baruch Hashem, and those times we may even have to, have a quote unquote an additional venue because Baruch Hashem, we're flowing, we're Faratz Tayava Kedma. Those are good things. Those are wonderful things. And yes, we look forward to the good days when we, for good reasons, for healthy reasons, we have to scrounge around to make Yom Run seats work. Those are the things we look forward to. Baruch Hashem. Yetz Hashem, those days will come back again soon. And Yetz Hashem, yes, and our Torah family, we look forward with positive and excitement and slavos to a time when we can begin to pick up again where we left off, literally almost a year ago. Both the Gashmias, both the Ruchnias, in terms of the Gashmias, in terms of the reality, Mitzvah Hashem, of a new shul, of a new building, something which so many of us have put so much time and effort and our dreams on, and those dreams did not end. They were just a little bit of a break, a little bit of a hole, like everything else in our lives. But Mitzvah Hashem, those dreams are going to come back very, very soon in full force, with excitement, with slavos. And I dare to say perhaps more slavos and more excitement and more enthusiasm. Because I think one of the many lessons that we walk away with, we realize that how much we need each other. And we still remember back those painful months where we didn't even have any form of Tefillah B'tzibur. Forget about Tefillah B'tzibur with masks and social distancing, nothing. It was each person in the corner of their own home. And we felt, and the Sefer Torah cried for us, the Aron HaKodesh cried for us. And our Beis HaKnesses, our beloved shul, was crying, was shedding tears for us to come back. Baruch Hashem, we've been able to come back in some shape or form. Yeah, not at its fullest, but definitely Tvidim consider myself Chasam for sure. But Amir Hashem, we look for the next step. The next step will come. Hein Begashpers and Hein Beruchnius. We look forward to the days when the shiurim will be like they were. It's Hashem, full, packed shuls, with drushes, with shiurim, with kiddushes, with onags, with Friday night learnings, with Avos Ubonim Kiyah HaMelech. Wow, Hashem, we have wonderful, wonderful things to look forward to. We really do. It's not that far down the line. We have twofold messages. A very optimistic message for Chodesh Adar is that, yes, We still have to be very careful. And yes, it's true. And this is, we still have to daven to Kadosh Baruch Hu to still help the cholim in our midst and beyond. No question about that. Not to forget the many, many tsaras that were and unfortunately still are very real as we speak now. And yet at the same time, almost that eternal optimism of Klal Yisrael, looking to the future is going to be a glorious future for us as a community. And just as for us as a community will be a glorious future, so too should set the stage for Klal Yisrael. And somehow out of this tzara, so a great Geula, a great Yeshua will come. Yeshua Hashem, Ge'erfayin, and we hope and pray that Geula on so many different levels will be here as the month of Adar is about to begin for us. So wish everybody a wonderful Shabbos and a good Chodesh, and Mishnichas Adar B'Simcha. And Mir Hashem will have many, many opportunities in the very near future to talk, both in a group setting such as this, as well as with Yechidim, individuals, get ourselves kind of back together again to be able to put our Torah back on its fullest glory. Mir Hashem, we should be zealous to that very, very soon. A good Shabbos and a good Chodesh.